Hi friends, welcome back to Race Creek Cards. I'm not done with the leaves yet, can you tell? But I think today's card is going to be noticeably different in the color choices maybe that I'm going to be using today. But I'm trying to use some of the recent new goodies that I got, and I would rather get a head start on fall birthday cards. I seem to have more fall birthday cards than I do anything else. And to be honest, guys, I don't really send out a lot of Thanksgiving cards. Maybe one or two here and there, but for the most part, I don't really send out that many. And today's card is not going to be a birthday or a Thanksgiving or any of that, but you'll see that here in just a minute. So, from Picket Fence Studios, I had ordered Leaves Falling for You and the coordinating dies, and as you can tell, I've already been into them because I do have a sample card made. And along with that, I found this wonderful traditional brick and mortar 6x8 stencil, also from Picket Fence, and that's going to be part of the background for the card that we're going to create today. And I know it seems like brick is also a recurring theme with my leaves, but hang in there with me, guys. So I want to make a top folding card today. So I have a piece of my accent opaque cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11. I haven't scored it yet, and I usually don't score on video. I usually just go ahead and have all that done. Well, we're going to go ahead and do that. And rather than use the bone folder that came with it, which is fine, I still elect to use my Teflon bone folder because I just like that so much better. So we're going to go ahead and score it at 5 1/2. Make sure I'm in here straight. Don't want to get into so much of a hurry that I do it wrong. And I generally will go back 2 or 3 times, and I get a pretty decent fold. And then you want to fold away from it. So I'm actually going to flip it over. I'm going to fold it over. Make sure my sides are aligned with each other. I'll get it there in a minute. Oh, I don't want it crooked. Okay. And then I can take and go ahead and put my burnish onto that score line. And I generally get a pretty flat laying card base when I do it this way. I don't know if it's because the score line is a little wider doing it this way, but it helps make it nice and flat to begin with. So now I'm going to put that away. I do still have my Stampin'Up scoreboard, but it is huge, and I rarely get it out. Seriously thinking about maybe going ahead and selling it or giving it to someone who really needs one. Anyway, I'll cross that bridge later. We're going to take a stencil out. Now, I've got in my accent opaque, I do have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece here. And we're going to lay this down and get this going. And of course, there's no issue to having plenty of stencil around the outer edges. I didn't pull out my sticky mat for this because honestly, the technique that I am using today, it's not really necessary. It's not. It is necessary. I don't have my tape up over my cardstock, however. Okay. Well, guys, I had somebody comment that they could smell fall. I don't know that I smell it, but we have a tree across the road in the field that has some yellow and orange on it, y'all. Oh, I don't want to let go of summer because things have cooled off and it's really nice even in the hottest part of the day. But anyway, I am using, I've showed these to you before, these Distress Tiny Blending Foams, and I didn't realize that the handle I have is a little bit bigger, but I've been using it with great success. It has not been an issue. Please note that when you have a stencil that has all these little small areas, you do want to kind of pay attention as to how you're applying your ink. I am going to be using Distress Oxide Lost Shadow, and I'm using this as a pouncer. And those little blending foams, they're inexpensive, and they just work so well. Now, Picket Fence makes those paper pouncers, I think. Is it Picket Fence or Pink Fresh? And I thought there for a while that I was going to be ordering some, and then I decided, nah, these work so well to do the same thing. Now, the paper pouncers are bigger, but if you don't mind taking a little time, and I never did even show you my sample card. I'll do that here in just a minute. So originally, when I was doing my sample card, I was actually doing it light and dark in different areas. But I think this time I'm going to go with some more of the dark because I didn't have a whole lot of it left by the time I got finished with my background. So I am taking a little bit more time than I did on my sample card just to try to make sure this is in here a little bit darker. Oh, this is so much fun though, guys, to get into your crafty space wherever that is and take a stencil that you like and make magic. I adore stencils. I love them. Even layering stencils, even if they may not be the easiest stencil on the market to use, I love them. The effects you get are wonderful. Okay, I've got it pretty good. There are some areas I want it a little darker. This makes a really smooth blend, y'all. It does. Oh, I love this. And you could go with darker colors, and you could do a traditional reddish brick tone. But I didn't want competition from my background. I wanted my background to complement and not necessarily fight for attention. That's never really a good thing. All right, I think we're good to go there. We're going to peel this up, see what we have. I even thought about using a paste on this, and that would have been really pretty too. And a lot of your pastes, you may have some that you're not using. Even if they're white, many times you can take re-inker and you can tint them to get a shade that you want. Okay, so here's what we have. So as you can tell, it's almost like a distress look, but it's very faint. Let me grab my splat box. And I told you guys I was going to let you know, if you watched my last video, I got out way too much of that gold mica powder. And you can see that there's quite a bit left in here. Now when it dries, it does turn right back into powder. But I was able to reconstitute it with some water, and it was ready to be splattered with, painted with, whatever I wanted to do. And I'm going to end up having to take this out and throw this away, but I'm going to use what's in here one more time. I have got my Distress Oxide Spray, the Vintage Photo. I don't have a whole lot of the sprays yet. This is probably the darkest one I have, but it's also my favorite. So we're going to take this and just spritz a little bit. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. In fact, that looks good right there. No two times you do this is it going to be the same. I do need to come in and make sure this is all good and dry before I do anything else. Some of those drops were kind of big, and as a result, a little wetter. Woohoo! we be flying. And I can't help it, guys. When I came in here today to design this, it was like, don't do splatters. You don't have to do that. But, you know, I did. I did have to do splatters. So isn't that kind of neat? Now, all I'm going to do is just kind of work some of that gold in just here and there. No rhyme or reason. Just putting down a little bit. Okay, and then to make sure it sets, I'm going to have to spritz it with just a little bit of water. Little water. Okay, and once again, we're going to dry it. I love this little tool. Love it. I have several settings that I can use on here. It doesn't get too hot. In fact, that is a very gentle, warm, very gentle. Okay. I think that is good. Do I need to flip it? Let me flip it and kind of, straighten that back out. Flatten it a little bit by heating it up on the other side. There we go. But yeah, this is one of those hot curling brushes, and you have off, cool, low, and high. I've never even had it on high, but I like it for this kind of thing because it doesn't get so hot. I just need to gently dry stuff. I don't need to hit it like I'm trying to heat emboss with embossing powder. And I'm going to take a paper towel, and if there's any of that gold that did not get down in there, I'm just gently wiping it away. There is a little bit, but an awful lot of it is staying on there. And then I'm going to get my water. Got my watercolors from Hero Arts. And I haven't had a chance to really sit and play with them. I did have a chance to swatch them. I think I have every color except for their neon colors and the dark teal. Not sure if I'll end up ordering the dark teal or not. But oh my heavens, those watercolors are gorgeous. They're beautiful. Alright, have I got this wiped up, or am I spreading more of the gold? Spreading more of the wealth. There we go. Let's get this up. Okay, now we're going to get ready and we're going to stamp our images. So let me bring in my Misty. I already have a little bit of cardstock in here. And I'm going to try to get as many of the images stamped at one time as I can. But we can always cut another piece if I don't have enough. I do know I want all three of the large leaves. So I'm going to get this out. Oh, and the sticky on these photopolymer. I loves it. It's awesome. Alright, I gotta make sure I have room for the dies. And it doesn't go off the edge. Here's another one. Let's see. Sorry about that. I think I need a drink of water. Got my water bottle here. It is going on 5 o'clock here. And I still have an errand to go run because my mother-in-law made a big pot of cabbage soup. Love it. This is distracting me. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. All right, do I have enough room? Yep. And yep. Sorry, I had to pause it for a second. And I'm not sure I'm not going to cough anymore. Oh, I hate that. Only on a video. Oh my goodness. Okay, now, I'm also going to be using the little berries. And I thought about using the pine cones, and I did do some for my sample card and ended up not using them. So I'm going to get this, and I'm going to bring in my Distress Oxide Peacock Feathers, and whoops, we're going to stamp the leaves and the peacock feathers. Of course, you all by now, you can tell I love teal. Love, love, love it. When I ordered my Misty, I could have got black, I could have got pink, but no, I went for the teal. And so, and you can't even see what I'm doing here. Let me bring this over a little bit. Sometimes it can be a little hard on the larger stamps to get your ink in the middle. Just tilt your ink pad and get it in there. It'll be just fine. Now, my original card, I did have to stamp them twice, and I may have to here. Don't know yet. And here we go. I love my Distress Oxide inks. I love them. I didn't mean for all this to get in the way. I used all of this earlier making my sample card, and it's all got good sticky left, so I didn't want to throw them away. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to press kind of in the middles where I know it might be the hardest area to get. And better. Do I want to do that one more time? Well, on the other two, I think I do. I want to get that small one and medium one a little bit better. Let's make sure that we have good images to play with. And I may just put just a little bit more back on that big one. There we go. And so if you did not know that you can stamp with Distress and Distress Oxide inks, you surely can. It's so pretty. But right there. All right. Let me get my tip right there a little bit better. Here we go. Got that. My big one's looking good. And this one's not looking too bad down here. I'm going to press for just a minute. There we go. Now, I will tell you, there is pigment in the Distress Oxide as well as dye. And it may take it just a second to dry. So I'm just going to hit this real quick. Very quickly. Because I was seeing some shiny areas that I knew that meant it was still wet. You can layer colors with Distress Oxide. You just may have to dry it some in between layers. And if any of y'all use like a salt cellar to put your wet chamois in, and if you like it, leave a comment, please, and let me know. I'm thinking of trying that. I don't know if it would dry out real fast, because honestly, life can keep me out of my craft room 2 and even 3 days at a time. And things tend to dry out, and I don't want to go to the expense of trying one of those salt cellars. And when I say salt cellars, the ones that have the little flip around top lid. Yeah. All right, let me pick this up. Put this backing off. Let's get my stamps carefully removed and get them on here. So if I can kind of get that lined up without taking all day doing it. And it's close. It's close. As long as I know I've got them right back where they need to be, I am good. Even if it isn't perfect. Normally I can line it up perfect. But normally I'm by myself. And I kind of take my time and get pretty good placement. Now, I just had that little stamp. It was just up here. Here it is. So I want to position this on here, and I want I do that every time. I want a couple of them, and so I am using Distress Oxide Picked Raspberry. Very pretty color. And let's see, may have to stamp this one a couple of times as well. And it's a little faint in areas. Let's do that again. Okay. And I want one more of them. I'm not even going to bother cleaning that off. I'm just going to lay it down and let my door pick it up. If I can lay it, well, poo. Let go of my ego. There we go. We'll get it. We'll get it. I'm just glad I had room to put everything. Room for the dies to cut everything out. And that one definitely needs a little more something something. So I'm gonna push that down, pick that up. Let's slide that back up. Yeah, my mother-in-law is a wonderful, wonderful cook. And cabbage soup, oh my heavens, guys, oh my heavens. All right, now I don't know if this might be a little damp or not. So once again, I want to hit those just to make sure before I get ready to die cut. There we go. That ought to be good. That ought to be good. See if I can pick that up. I can. All right. Oh, I need to clean my stamp. I'm not doing this. I'm not. But there is something I want you to notice about using these Distress Oxides. Let me point this out to you here in just a second. I'm going to pick all these back up. You see how they're not stained? Isn't that awesome? So I've not had Distress Oxide stain my photopolymer. So there we go. And there is a sentiment in there that says autumn greetings. We're not going to be using that today. All right, let me put my Misty up. And let me get the dies and bring them in. We are going to tape them down and run them through. Okay, I have scattered all my little bits to the wind. All right, let me get this lined up. This is a bigger die, so it does take just a hot minute to kind of get everything positioned. They cut really well. I'm very impressed. Picket Fence, absolutely, they have great products. I would not hesitate to order from them again. I'm just going to put a piece right there because I don't want to block being able to die cut this one at the same time. And just in case I did get any of these a little bit too close to each other, may have to make more than one pass through the cutting machine. But hopefully I got this okay. We'll see here in a minute, won't we? So far, so good. I've got two smaller ones here that kind of lined up. And I'm not going to worry about white outlines today because, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Let's get this last die put on here. And yeah, I mean, I love fall. I've told y'all before, fall. Thanksgiving was always my very favorite, even over Christmas. But there we go. I'm just not ready to let go of summer now that it's cooled off a little bit. Isn't that awful? When we were having that heat wave and getting up, you know, in the high 90s and humidity like 80%, 100%, whatever it would run. And I may not be able to use this. Yeah, I can. So I'm going to get out my mini-me, line all this up, sketch that back a little bit. You can see it kind of, sort of, I think. And I'm going to send that through. Oh, it's not going to totally cut, is it? Because my plates aren't long enough. That's okay. We're going to do a flip. And slide this out and turn it around. And slide my plates up. And we'll go again. Not a problem. All right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So, and we'll just go ahead and go. And then back it up. What I call a round trip. Going through one time is a one-way ticket. Going back and forth is a round trip. So, here we go. I'll put my die. I'm going to put my die in my little magnetic tray over here to the side. See how they're just falling out? Aren't they awesome? It stuck to my die a little bit, but it didn't damage my die cut. I rarely have an issue with the mint tape from scrapbook.com bothering my die cuts. Rarely. It seems to me like about the only time it did it was if I was using like really cheap cardstock that didn't have any kind of a finish to it. That's when it would seem to happen. It's been a long time since I have experienced that, thankfully. It's awesome to find a product that you can really rely on. All right, I've got one more to go. So, come on, get out and get this done. One more pass and we'll be good. One more. There we go. I think everything is sticking to me at this point. All right. So, last little die cut. Why is it not going? I usually don't have an issue with that. Usually. Well, did I do something wrong with my sandwich? No. I'll pull back that top plate a little bit. But that's why I like using that light gray plate, is because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't fight me. Okay. We'll line it up all even. And still it doesn't want to go. Now why? Alright. Maybe the thickness with that die is just a little too much. So look at what I'm doing. I've got the bottom 2 loaded up, but I'm going to sketch back my cardstock in the die so it's not right there as it's going to go through. And let's see if that makes the difference. Oh, it absolutely did. It did. Awesome. Okay. So it was just a little too much for it to want to bite and hold on. So, there we go. And there's our other little berries. And we're not done with the die cuts yet. Putting my die over there in that magnetic tray until I can put everything away after the video. Move that. Let's bring this in. Bring in my 2 leaves. And I'm going to bring in my little berries. I don't know what kind of berries they're supposed to be. Traditionally, I think a lot of berries in the fall are yellow or red, either or. And at this point, I'm bringing in Salvaged Patina. And I'm just going to ink this up. And just very lightly go over my leaves to fill that in so that it does not have stark white. I want a little bit of color. I don't want to obscure where I did the stamping in the peacock feathers, but I do want some color. Just a bit, especially around the edges where that white outline is. Okay. It doesn't take but a hot minute to get this. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. Oh my goodness. I didn't even go out and water today. I should have, but it has been mild enough that I'm able to get away now with watering like every 3 days or so. And hopefully we will have some rain coming in. Now, I'm going to go back in here, but this time I'm not going to pounce it off. And I just want a little bit of darkness toward the base here. Just a little bit. And that way there will give it just a little bit of dimension on the leaves so they don't look so flat. Yeah, I'm going to pick this up instead of going back into my ink pad. I think that'll give me enough here. I think. Just to give a little dimension. And I'm looking to see if I have any stark white edges. If I do, I kind of want to fill that in so it doesn't look just white. It can look really pale. I just don't want a stark white. I think we're good there. I want to put just a titch more on that one. There we go. Because you do want some light and dark areas. All right, now let me put this away. And I'm going to go to my Kitsch Flamingo for the background color. And I'm looking in my brushes here. Where is my flamingo? Here it is. And I may actually have enough ink left on there. Kind of fill that in. Yep, I think so. I don't think I ended up using my picked raspberry on these. I think I just used the Kitsch Flamingo to kind of put that background color on there. And I think we're good. One's a little darker than the others. Good. Because once everything gets put down on the card, we'll be rocking and rolling. Get my brushes put back up. I'm going to move all my inks well out of my crafty space here. And I don't know if these are dry all the way yet. I feel like they might still be a little damp. It'll dry. In the meantime, I'm moving these so I can bring in some water. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see where some of that ink has gotten onto the mat. We just want to remove the temptation for the ink to travel where it should not be traveling. So there we go. Make sure it's dry. Okay. Good. Now, we're going to get ready to work on putting our layers together. I cut a piece of black cardstock, and this is from Gina K. I cut this at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and that's going to be the first layer that goes down. So we can get that adhered. I love Gina K's black cardstock. And it cuts so nice. It is so nice. It's a good heavyweight. You will not go wrong with her cardstock. It's beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay, I think that's down really well. And now we're going to take our background, and if I can hold it up, I went a little bit darker with this one, and so I can see more of the brick. I'm going to put this layer down. I'm not going to finish the inside of the cards today with you, because once again, I am not real sure who, what, where, when. Oh no, I didn't cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. Oops. All right, let me do that real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this off. I thought I had that pre-cut at 4 by 5 1/4. In fact, I think I told you at the beginning of the video that I had it at 4 by 5 1/4. And that's all right. We're going to fix it. We'll fix it. All right. I'm going to put this in here. I may have to wash this little thing down when all's said and done. That's my bad. All right. Am I straight? I'm straight. Okay. And 5 1/4. Can you hear that? Just a little bit of sticky. Oh my goodness. Let's get it over here to 5 1/4. Make sure I'm straight up here, straight here. Holding it here. When I first got this, I can't tell you how many wonky cuts I got, because if you don't hold it down right here, yeah, you'll get some wonky cuts. But I'm loving this. I love it. My crafting space is a little small, and I may save this for the inside of the card. I might very well do that, because those are too pretty. Love it. All right, let's try this again, shall we? Oh, goodness. That's funny. And the moon. Have y'all been looking at the moon the last couple of nights? Now, they're crescent moons, but beautiful, bright, bright, just really bright. Ah, they've been such a pleasure to look at. Oh my goodness. And we have a hoot owl that's moved back into the neighborhood, so I've been listening to him. And even though it was after dark the other night, just one time I heard our local pileated, am I pronouncing that right? Pileated woodpecker. They're the ones that sound like a jungle bird. When I first moved back to East Tennessee and I would hear that, it's like, what is that bird? Because I honestly didn't remember it. Truly, I didn't. All right. Obviously, I want my big one right up here. And I'm going to bring one down here. One down here. I'm going to want one of my berries right up here. And one of them coming right down here. We have a huge sentiment that we were going to go right in the middle with. Let me pick that up and bring that in. This is a die set from Poppy Stamps. I now have 2 stamp cases full of their dies. And this is the Luscious Script Hugs with Shadow dies. And I believe it is still available. So this is the envelope it comes in. Here are the 2 dies. Here is a shadow die, and here is a scripty die. It's not super huge, but it's got such a good size to it. It is 3.6 by 1.4 on the script part, and then the shadow die, 3.6, 1.4. Whew. Okay, there's 2 dies here. Let me measure right now, because I know centimeters don't help me, and I'm sure they don't help you either. So let me get my little plastic ruler here, and let's see. This looks like maybe the furthest edge away. And so it looks like it's about 3 5/8 of an inch long by, this is, where's the widest part? It's kind of hard to know where to measure it. but you're looking at 1 to 1 1/4 inches depending. So that's 1 1/4 almost right there. So, and then the script, and obviously the die is actually going to be a titch bigger than when you cut it out, but it looks like it's going to be 3 and 3, almost 3.5, isn't it? Just a titch over 3.5. And let's see, right here, it is about 1 inch. And right up here, it's going to be about 1 inch. So about 1 inch or so in diameter. So that will give you kind of a good reference point as to how big they are. Sometimes it is kind of hard to tell on screen, isn't it? We're going to go ahead and glue this together. And this particular, I'm trying to remember where this silver cardstock came from. There's a very high chance it's Stampin'Up, but I have ordered silver cardstock, especially metallic, the colored silver cardstock, holographic, elsewhere in the past. So I'm not going to swear to you that this is Stampin'Up, but so many companies put out silver, and most of us card makers have this already in our craft room. So, just going to lay that on there, kind of give that a second to kind of set up. And let me put this over to the side. Going to bring this back over here. And let's start placing this again. I'm going to leave these out for the minute. I'm going to bring my hugs in, kind of laying it here in the middle to kind of see where I need to finagle. And this is, you're seeing me do what I actually do in my card room. Okay, do I want that I think I want that tilted down just a bit. And we're going to slide one of these berries up under there. And I'm going to try to slide this up in there. I don't mind the stem showing. I mean, really, I don't. But I don't really want that sticking out. I may pull this up a little bit more. Okay. And let's tilt this. Just, if I tilt it, maybe not too much. I don't want to tilt it too much. I do want that down a little bit, though. I don't want to be all the way up there at the top. And I want these a little further away from each other. See if I can slide that in there. I don't want to cover up all them berries, but it's got to be under there far enough to kind of have a hold of. About like so. That stem. Wish the stem on these was just a little bit longer, but it's okay. Alright, and that is crooked. Let's pull. Let me get my tweezers. I have a hard time sometimes getting a hold of these without pulling everything else with it. And I think I want this one coming down a little bit more. What, not that much more. Oh, how wonderful to do the herky-jerky while you're trying to get this filmed. And people don't get bored and go somewhere else. And then I'm going to take this and, well, didn't get a hold of it where I needed to. And kind of bridge the gap in between those two leaves a little bit. And I think that might be all right. So do you see where this card is going? What do you think? Now, I had kind of gotten out of the habit of using my press and seal. And as I was doing my sample, my sample card. All right, look here. Look here. I thought, man, I need something to hold all this down with, and then I remembered, oh yeah, press and seal. Funny how we go through phases and stages in our card making. Alright. Now, I'm happy with everything but where these little berries are. They kind of got up in there a little bit too far. Okay, am I happy there? This does still have some, hopefully it has enough sticky left. I use mine like several times before I relegate it to the trash. I'm just going to press this in really well. Hopefully enough sticky left. And I always forget to use the hinge method where you've got extra over here pressed down, so that when you pick all this up, you can fold it over and then be able to flip it right back where you left off. Now, I don't know how well you can see this on camera. These 3 leaves are here on the bottom, and they're the ones that will get glued down first. So I'm just going to dot my glue around. I just want to make sure they hold down to the card like I need it to. Of course, you may not be able to see every little dot I'm putting on there. Then I'm going to flip this back over ever so easy. And I'm pressing to make sure those back leaves attach. Give that a good little back rub. Or a tummy rub, whichever. Okay. And then, at this point, the only thing that should be trying to come up are the berries and the sentiment. Come on now, stay on there. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to do the berries and the sentiment all together, because honestly, the berries aren't taking up too much from the sentiment background. I think it's going to stay down just fine. Put a little bit right there. And let's bring this back ever so carefully. And hopefully I'm straight. Oh, I hope I am. I'm going to hold that for a second. And I will bring in my original card for you to see. But if y'all have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and like what you see, consider subscribing to my channel. But definitely, you know, a thumbs up is free. It takes a split second. And it helps me out. And it lets YouTube know that people want to see my videos. Alright. So, here we go. Can you see just enough of that brick background? It adds a little interest, but it doesn't overpower. And I don't know what you think about teal fall leaves and pink berries, but yeah. So here's the card I made before. And it's got a brushed silver, but honestly, I didn't have any more pieces big enough of it, so I had to go scrounging, and I found just a matte silver, which, you know, I really liked. And you can tell on this one, you can see more of that brick down here at the bottom, but it kind of got lost up here because I went a little bit too lightly in some areas. And so, what do you think, guys? Is this something you would like to replicate? And look, it's a hugs. On the inside of your card, you can put happy birthday, I miss you, hang in there, you know, you're going to get through this kind of thing. Hugs opens up the door for so many different occasions, doesn't it? Guys, until we meet again, y'all be safe, be blessed, do know that you are loved, and God is good all the time. Bye.